Hello to everyone and welcome back to this channel. The issue of case numbers in the diversity visa program is a very important issue. When people get selected in the diversity visa lottery, they begin to ask questions like, is my case number a high one or is it a low one? And so in today's video, I will be sharing with you just what you need to know concerning your case number. Now, before we go into that, there is an article that I wrote a number of years ago. That article provides the basics concerning case number. For example, it tells you the origin of case number in the diversity visa process. So for those of you guys who are interested in background information concerning your case number, what I'm going to do is to leave the link to that article below the video. You can click on that link. It's going to take you to my website and you can read for the basics concerning your case number. All right, so now let's go into the meat of today's discussion. When you get selected in the diversity visa lottery, at the bottom of your selection notification letter, that is the letter that informs you that you were selected in the diversity visa lottery, at the bottom of that letter, amongst your case details, you have your case number. Now, your case number is not only meant to identify your case, for example, say case number 2026 AF 22507, it is also meant to indicate the time of the fiscal year when you are supposed to be interviewed. And this is how it is supposed to work when it comes to indicating when in the fiscal year you are supposed to be interviewed. Before the first batch of interviews can be scheduled, that is interviews for the month of October, which is the first month in the fiscal year, case numbers from each region are supposed to be arranged in ascending order. That is from the lowest case number to the highest case number in each region. Then, for the first month of interviews, which is the month of October, based on the number of interview slots available at the different embassies and consulates in each region, KCC should identify the number of cases that should be scheduled for interview at the level of the lowest case numbers. Then for the second month of interview, November, what they do or what they should do is to consider case numbers that are just above the range that was concerned during the month of October. Then in December, they move further to case numbers that are higher than those that were scheduled for the month of November, and so on throughout the fiscal year, so that by the time you get to the end of the fiscal year, interviews will concern the highest case numbers or case numbers close to the highest case numbers. That is how it is supposed to work. And in that way, you could look at a case number and say, because of your position in that regional queue, you are expected to be interviewed, for example, during the month of March or during the month of April or any month for that matter. That is how it is supposed to work, and that is how it worked up to COVID-19. But since COVID-19, things have changed when it comes to case numbers in the diversity visa program. And this actually came about because during COVID-19, all of the embassies were not open and operating at the same time. So instead of having only one queue from each region, that regional queue was broken down into queues by embassy. So nowadays, interviews are no longer arranged or scheduled according to the entire region. They are scheduled according to each embassy, the reality that exists at each embassy. Now, let me share this experience with you. It is something that has been happening since COVID-19. But 2 years ago especially, There were low case numbers that ended up not being scheduled for interview, whereas the highest case numbers in the DV 2024 program got scheduled for interview from the Africa region especially. And what made the difference was where each case was assigned. Now, speaking about where each case was assigned, there were two main factors that impacted how interviews were scheduled. The first one was the performance of each embassy, whether the embassy was interviewing many diversity visa cases or not. And the second was the number of cases that were assigned at each embassy. There were embassies that had so many applicants assigned there that they did not interview most of them. At the same time, there were other embassies that had only a few number of applicants assigned there, and those embassies interviewed all of those applicants. And it happened that the embassies that had so many persons had some with low case numbers, so they ended up not being scheduled for interview, whereas the ones that had only few persons, even those with the highest case numbers, they ended up getting scheduled for interview. So this makes the issue of high case number or low case number to be almost irrelevant in today's diversity visa program. In other words, prior to COVID-19, in case you had a low case number, it was sure that you will be interviewed. And in case you had a high case number, chances were that you may not be interviewed. But in today's diversity visa program, you could have a low case number or a relatively low case number, and you are not interviewed up to the end of the fiscal year. You could also have a high case number, even a very high case number, and yet you get to be interviewed in today's diversity visa program. So that's another reality. So if you get to know that your case number is high or your case number is low in the context of the diversity visa program today, it doesn't make much of a difference. For those of you who watched the video yesterday, I identified new factors that affect your chances, and those factors could influence the scheduling of your interview, whether you have a high case number or a low case number. So that is how you guys should understand the issue of case numbers in today's diversity visa program, and not as it used to be prior to COVID-19. Which brings us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching it. See you, God willing, in another one very soon. Until then, goodbye.